told you that there was a dark money group that was secretly funding Democrat influencers, and they did not tell you about it? What if I told you that some of those influencers include David Pakman, Politics Girl, and Brian Tyler Cohen? That's where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. This story is getting a lot of buzz. Taylor Lorenz posted this. A powerful dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. Let's go ahead and get into the actual article here in just a second, but I wanted to show you this part. An initiative that was aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month to push the party line. All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content. Let me chime in here, folks, as someone who does independent media, okay? Yeah, man. We've been saying for quite some time that some of these people were getting paid, that they were paid influencers. It's really funny. There were people, when I would not support Kamala, there were people calling me, oh, MAGA, your secret MAGA, or the right wing is giving you money. That was never the case. I called it out then, told them to produce something, since they seem to know what they're talking about. They think they know what they're talking about, and they just run away and just go away. They were dim trolls. I told you that Too Raw, Too Real was also paid. I warned people, I said, guys, these people are paid influencers. And I got a lot of shit for that at the time. Now it's out there. Now it's really, really out there. And why is this interesting? Why is this important? Well, let me take you back to something, okay? Let me take you back to what happened right after Kamala lost the election. Remember when I covered this story about how David Pakman said that he had just lost 5,000 subscribers and then it actually ended up going up to 10,000? Just a reminder.
We had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that. And subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So I started texting. And I texted Brian Tyler Cohen. And I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler, all of them. I texted all of them.
Did you hear who he said he texts? See, names matter, right? So he said he texts Brian Tyler Cohen. I
texted Jesse Dollamore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar. And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers. What is it that is going on? Here is a graphic. As you can see, subscribers just go up, 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 and they are down. It is not just YouTube subscribers. We are seeing record cancellations of paid memberships, record cancellations. These are the people that keep the show running. Now, for a moment, I thought, if it's just YouTube, maybe YouTube is purging people who are inactive subscribers. And once a year, usually YouTube does this and you see a little decline and then numbers go back up. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. And if that were the case, we wouldn't be seeing paid membership cancellations on the website. So now I understand what is going on. It's terrifying, but it is happening. A lot of people are checking out. I heard anecdotally from a couple dozen people who said, you know, David, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm checking out. I'm out. And the reason that this is terrifying, not only because it puts everybody in left-wing media's livelihoods at stake and at risk, it terrifies me because our instinct is the opposite of what the right does, and we will get crushed if this is the way we respond to a defeat?
So, at that time, I responded when I covered that story that, yeah, you were losing that many people because you led people to believe that she was going to walk away with this election, and that obviously was not the case. And you've been doing that. You led people to believe that Hillary was going to walk away with that election in 2016. So yeah, man. So yeah, people tapped out, right? Now just hold on to that for just a second, because there was something else. And I want to show you what I talked about during my coverage of this, when I showed you what else happened after he lost those, it became 10,000 subscribers. Watch this part. Now, at that point, when he made this video, it was just 5,000. As the day progressed, it grew to 10,000 subscribers. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, keep that in mind. Now, let's go to the part where I show you how he magically got 10,000 subscribers back. You see, I know I'm pretty good here with analytics. Like, I pay attention to numbers and these types of things and trends, and I've done my research. What you see, what just happened to David Pakman here at this time, this was not normal, and I flagged it. Listen to this. Here on Social Blade. Let me just zoom out a little bit. If we scroll down, zoom out, sorry. We can see his numbers here. And I'll show you for the David Pakman show. It was Wednesday, November 6th, where it shows here in red, he lost 10,000 subscribers. And on Friday, November 11th, he gained 10,000 subscribers. Guys, that is not logical. No, it's not. The algorithm doesn't work like that. So this is what I tried to explain to people back then, and I knew something was up. If you lose 10,000 subscribers in one day, you don't get 10,000 back the next day unless you doing something behind the scenes or you working with somebody. So I knew that doesn't make any sense, because it's one thing if you lost like 100, but if you lose 10,000 in one day, you do not gain 10,000 the next day. That means behind the scenes, you getting help from somebody else somewhere. Somebody giving you some money, honey. Okay? I wasn't born yesterday. I know how these numbers work. And now we find out, thanks to this shining article that is out there for the public to see, Dark Money Group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. So let's get into this, okay? Check this out. In a private group chat in June, dozens of Democratic political influencers discussed whether to take advantage of an enticing opportunity. They were being offered $8,000 per month to take part in a secretive program aimed at bolstering Democratic messaging on the internet. $8,000 a month, secretive. But the contract sent to them from Chorus, the nonprofit arm of a liberal influencer marketing platform, came with strings. Among other issues, it mandated extensive secrecy about disclosing their payments and had restrictions on what sort of political content the creators could produce. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I remain independent. When you start, locking arms with said platform or said nonprofit group or said sponsor or whatever, they want you to move, how they want you to move. And the moment you don't move the way they want you to move, you're gone. So there were a number of influencers, some of which you may be surprised with, a number of influencers that were paid by this group, Chorus, took this contract with them. They were given $8,000 a month to produce the content, the political content that they wanted them to produce. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, is some of these people, as I told you a year ago, that were saying they were independent, were not independent. They are under the guise of being independent. Some of them may have started out as independent commentators, but when money started being thrown their way, they decided to take the money. Now, I'm saying this as someone who was in this field because David Pakman has issued a response. Remember, I'm going to play that lame ass shit after this article. He has issued a response, and I am living proof that what David Pakman is using as an excuse for taking this money isn't necessary. Let's go on here. In their group chat, influencers debated the details. Should we send a joint email, or we just going to send things separately and hope they change everything for everyone? So it goes on to say here, some joked about collective bargaining, yada, yada. The influencers in the chat collectively had at least 13 million followers across social platforms. They represented some of the most well-known voices online, posting in support of Democrats, and they're key to wherever the party moves next. But ultimately, the group didn't make much progress. Let's go on here. For Democrats. For years, Democrats have struggled to work with influencers. In 2024, Biden's White House snubbed several prominent content creators after they lightly criticized the administration over its policies on climate change, the pandemic, Gaza, and the TikTok ban. Content creators who challenged Kamala, including Hassan Piker, a well-known influencer on the left, were similarly unwelcomed at campaign events. After they lost in November, they faced a reckoning. It was clear that the party had failed to successfully navigate the new media landscape. So let's get to chorus. Democrats hoped that the secretive chorus creator incubator program, funded by a powerful liberal dark money group called the 1630 Fund, would tip the scales for them. The program kicked off last month, and creators involved were told by Chorus that over 90 influencers were set to take part. Over 90. They don't list all 90 of them here. Creators told Wire that the contract stipulated they'd be kicked out and essentially cut off financially if they even so much as acknowledge that they were part of the program. Some creators also raised concerns about a slew of restrictive clauses in the contract. Okay, so again, they picked out certain people that they knew would kind of be willing to go along with the rules and take the money. What that tells you right now, and I say it again, and you guys, you need to check them, because this tells you right now, David Pakman, whatever David Pakman says, throw it out the window. Throw whatever Brian Tyler Cohen says out the damn window. All these people that took this money, throw it out the window, because you don't know if that's what they really feel or not, or what they were paid to say. At this point, that's no different than corporate media. There are many of us in independent media that don't have any sponsorships, that are not aligned with any chorus or any other dark money group, that are 100% independent. In fact, most of us are. That's the part they won't tell you. Most of us, especially the smaller shows, most of us are 100% independent. Let's continue on here. Influencers included in communication about the program, and in some cases, an onboarding session for those receiving payments from 1630 Fund, include Olivia Juliana. Everybody remember this woman? This was the woman that was supposed to do the webinar for how to recruit young men. And everybody was like, what the hell is the Democratic Party doing? I told y'all she was paid. Centrist Gen Z influencer who spoke at the DNC convention. Lauren Peretra, a former Playboy executive turned political influencer who hosts a podcast for Occupy Democrats. They're all embedded in here. Barrett Adair, a content creator who runs an American Girl doll-themed pro-DNC meme account. Suzanne Lambert, who has called herself a Regina George liberal. Ariel Fodder, an education creator with 1.4 million followers on TikTok. Sander Jennings, a former TLC reality star and older brother of trans influencer Jazz Jennings. David Pakman, who hosts an independent progressive, yeah, right, progressive show on YouTube covering news and politics. Lee McGowan, who goes by the online moniker Politics Girl, and dozens of others. The first two declined to comment. The rest did not respond to requests for comment. Again, these are just some of the people. There are over 90 of them. I'm curious to see who all 90 are, because I want to know who's not being named. It goes on to say here, according to copies of the contract that was viewed by Wire, the contracts that the creators signed, the influencers are not allowed to disclose their relationship with Chorus or the 1630 fund, or functionally that they're being paid at all. So you had David Pakman and all these other people taking dark money. Dozens of liberal influencers are believed to have been approached by Chorus about the 1630 fund financing opportunity this spring. They were told that Chorus appreciated the work they were doing online, and then they were asked if they would be interested in being part of the first cohort of a new program that Chorus was running to help expand their reach and impact, creators tell Wired. But following the initial outreach, many creators expressed concern and some stipulations. According to copies of the contract viewed by Wired, creators in the program must funnel all bookings with lawmakers and political leaders through Chorus. So they were telling them who they were allowed to interview. Creators also have to loop Chorus in on any independently organized engagements with government officials or political leaders. Honey, some of the independent media is still corporate media. Goes on to say here, let's jump forward so we can get to the Brian Tyler Cohen bit here. Right about here. Okay, here we go. The Federal Election Commission declined to comment. This part is important. There are some real advantages to housing this program as a nonprofit, Wilson said to creators on a Zoom call reviewed by Wired. It gives us the ability to raise money from donors. You see what's happening here? It also, with this structure, it avoids a lot of public disclosure or public disclaimers, paid for by blah, 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 that you see on political ads. So they were trying to get around that so that it would be kept secret that they weren't being paid. They wanted it under the guise as a nonprofit so people wouldn't see where the money was coming from. It's so corrupt, and people bought into it. We don't need to deal with any of that. Your names aren't showing up like reports filed with the FEC. Wilson did not reply to a request for comment before this article was published. The FEC declined to comment. Now, listen to this part. The goal, of course, according to a fundraising deck obtained by Wired, is to build new infrastructure to fund independent progressive voices online at scale. The creators who joined the incubator are expected to attend regular advocacy trainings and daily message check-ins. The message check-ins are led by Cohen on rapid response days. The creators also have to attend at least 2 Chorus Newsrooms events per month, which are events Chorus plans, often with lawmakers. I'm trying to get to, sorry, it's long, guys. I just want to make sure. Eric, do you know, can I do Control F on here? Yeah, I can't do Control F on Type VNC. Do you know how to do it, Eric? Let me know. I was just looking for the Cohen part. It's just really long, you guys, but there's certain, okay, Eric's going to show me. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. All right, so let's look for, got it. right here. Everyone pay attention to this part. Okay. Chorus, which describes its contracts reviewed by Wire as a project of 1630 Fund that handles operations for the Creator Program, launched in November 2024 with ties to Good Influence, a for-profit influencer marketing agency aimed at helping content creators connect with social good campaigns. Good Influence was founded on October 2020 by Stuart Perlmutter, the former communications director for Representative John Yarmouth of Kentucky. Seeing an opportunity for making sure we're highlighted here. Okay, so people follow me along. Seeing an opportunity after Kamala Harris lost last November, Perlmutter co-founded Chorus with Democratic influencer Brian Tyler Cohen, who has over 4.6 million subscribers on YouTube and leads message check-ins for the creator cohort on rapid response days. There's the tie to Brian Tyler Cohen. He's co-founder. I'll be sure to put this article in the chat so you guys can read this on your own because it is pretty lengthy. But everybody sees what's happening here. Now, I just want to remind everybody, they mentioned Politics Girl. This woman right here is an actress. This is something I called out a couple of years ago. Her real name is Lee McGowan. Remember, she was the woman that was doing these videos in her kitchen and she kind of blew up out of nowhere, whatever. She's an actress. She was an actress in Canada and she moved to the US. In fact, it was even mentioned here, a return to common sense, how to fix America before we really blow it, right? So listen to this. This is a lot of things people didn't pay attention to. It says, you probably better know Lee McGowan as Politics Girl, famous for her kitchen rant on social media. McGowan speaks about politics and current issues in ways that are clear, concise, and easy to understand, but never condescending. Yada, yada, yada. Goes on to say here, born and raised in Canada, McGowan came to America to be an actor. Fame in Hollywood never happened, but what is the entertainment world's loss is our gain. So if you look into this deeper, because they're starting to hide stuff on her, if you look into it deeper, you'll see that she was an actress in Canada. And then she moved to LA to become a bigger, actress in the Hollywood industry. So that woman that is Politics Girl, as I tried to tell people before, was an actress. I just think that's something people should know. Like, I'm not saying, oh, you can't do this because you did that. I'm just saying, I think it's something that people should know. Brian Tyler Cohen was also an actor. This is another one I think a lot of people may not have been aware of. So Brian Tyler Cohen, this is an easy one you can look up and see, right? Brian Tyler Cohen acted in a handful of film and TV roles from 2012 to 2016. In October 2018, he started posting political content on his YouTube channel. Okay? So he started the podcast. Pay attention. In June of 2020, he started his first podcast, No Lie, during the midst of the pandemic. So that's when he started that podcast. The Brian Tyler Cohen podcast show, whatever you want to call it, has over 4 million subscribers last time I checked. Again, he was an actor. That's kind of where he came from. And a lot of people don't mention this part. They'll just say, oh, he's a political commentator and he has all these interviews. He's interviewed Nancy Pelosi. He's talked to Biden. He's talked to all these people, but he was already in the entertainment industry. So you got to see that. Look, progressive. He's everybody progressive now. Progressive YouTuber, podcast host, author, political commentator, actor, and MSNBC contributor. In other words, Brian Tyler Cohen is not a threat to the establishment. Brian Tyler Cohen is not trying to challenge power. Neither is Politics Girl, and neither is David Pakman. This is something all of them have in common, except for taking dark money. But this is important, right? In 2022, Cohen became the first YouTube creator podcaster to interview Joe Biden. How'd that happen? If he started his podcast in 2020, how did he get to interview Joe Biden that quickly? Come on, guys, connect the dots, boo. Connect the dots. Then there's the Israel issue. I just find it interesting, I don't know, that David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen don't have a good position on Israel and Gaza. They're pro-Israel. They're part of that I'm progressive except for Palestine group. May every now and then show some sympathy towards the people being killed in Gaza. But it ain't like the motherfuckers radical. David Pakman was defending Israel. Zionist. See, I didn't forget these things. And now you have David Pakman trying to make an excuse for why he took dark money. This guy has got to be the lowest of the low. Ken Klippenstein said David Pakman issues response about why he took the money. I told you, I warned people about this guy over and over again. Listen to this.
For years, I've been saying the left needs to organize independent media in the way that the right has been doing. The left needs to fund independent creators the way that the right does. The right has won even arguably presidential elections.
Eric, Corey, do me a quick favor. Can one of you guys Google to see if you can find a number to show how much money David Pakman makes? If you have time. Let me debunk something real quick. Hold up.
Doing. The left needs to fund independent creators the way that the right does. The right has won even arguably presidential elections.
So, because the right has been able to win presidential elections, hold up. David Pakman says that the left needs to fund independent media in the same way that the right does. What the hell does that have to do with you taking dark money and not disclosing it? Here's the thing I said before. If that's what you are going to do, the audience needs to know. They need to know that you have a contract signed and you are actually working for someone else, because that's what this is really about. Thank you, Eric. David Pakman's net worth is $11 million. So buy me all that, okay, David? Go sit down somewhere, David. Go sit down somewhere, David. You ain't need no more money. You just greedy. He's just greedy. Don't you guys remember David Pakman went to the White House and sat down and spoke to Kamala Harris in a room with other influencers, including Too Raw, Too Real? I told you guys, these people got to be paid. You don't get to just show up at the White House like that and let me just sit down and talk to this person, the president, the vice president, and all this type of stuff. It was so obvious. So obvious. Don't forget, Crystal dropped the ball on this, not dropped the ball, but dropped the nugget on this one. Remember, Crystal said that her and Saga Breaking Points reached out to the Kamala Harris's campaign to invite her on for an interview. Apparently, the campaign didn't want that to happen. But they were fine with David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen, with them going to interview. So you see, you got to connect these dots. You are worth $11 million. You took the money because you were greedy. That's what this is really about. This is not about the left trying to fund independent media. This is about you, your pocket, your ego, and you wanted more money. That's all this is. I'm not here to say there aren't expenses that you have to pay for. Yes, there are. There are expenses I have to pay for. Even the live stream, I have to pay for StreamYard once a month. I have to pay to use Canva to make my thumbnails. There are a lot of things that you pay for, but that motherfucker ain't broke. Not at all. And to keep it secret, you say nothing. Yes, I agree to sign this contract, but I don't let my audience members know that I'm going to be getting paid this money and they're going to be telling me what stories, political stories that I can really talk about. And I'm not going to tell anybody because, let's let them continue.
because they're organized with regard to online and independent media.
Now, if you're not taking the money, this means that this side of the faction is not organized. You can organize without taking dark money. Do people understand this? Yes, Chris, but Sabby, $8,000 a month. Workers can't even see that much in a basic job, which is nearly $96,000 a year. That's the big point there, Chris. That's a really big point. Like this mofo. Now, let me tell you what happened. I remember when a lot of these people started. David Pakman, when he started, he had like this radio show, was definitely independent in the beginning. But David, as he grew, he wanted nicer things. And this is one of the mistakes a lot of these creators make. You don't see me go get no nicer things. You don't see me go get no. All you saw me do was move my desk around in this room up against this wall instead of having that window behind me. You didn't see me go buy no damn studio. See, these are what things people do. You don't see me go get a studio and start paying monthly for a studio. That's another bill. You're keeping them lights on. That's more money. You didn't see me do those things. People like David Pakman did. He didn't have to do all that. I'm living proof of someone who was independent media that I didn't have to take no money from nobody. I didn't get no money from no corporation. I don't have no sponsorships. David Pakman does. And because they advertise them on the show. I don't have no sponsorships. You don't hear me say, oh, now a word from our sponsor. I like to drink such and such, and I think you guys should do. Nope. I don't have no sponsorships. I ain't take no damn dark money. I ain't signed with no nonprofit, take no money from them. Me, RBN, Nico House, Jamal Thomas, a lot of us, most of us are independent. The problem is most people don't hear from us. Most people hear from channels like David Pakman because he has over millions of subscribers. And then they like David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen, they will try to make sure that their audience never sees or hears from us because we are saying something different. And that's the last thing they want them to hear. God forbid, don't let them listen to those people telling them to organize within their communities. Oh no, the people are talking about mutual aid. No, we can't let them hear that. And now you see what they were paid to do.
They're killing us. We've been so behind. And this kind of support for creators is exactly what I've been advocating for. It's for years I've been saying
you can tell he is not comfortable. This is not about what you've been saying for years, David. This is about you taking money and not telling people about it. Per the contract, they're controlling your political content. Why should anybody believe you or trust you? You, Brian Tyler Cohen, and that crazy ass politic woman who's still stuck in her damn kitchen. Why should anybody trust you guys? They shouldn't. That's dirty. That's grimy. But no, people told you I'm the one that you shouldn't listen to. People told you I'm the problem. RBN's the problem. We ain't take no dark money. So I don't feel sorry for David Pakman. He can take his $11 million ass home somewhere. And this brings up the Israel issue. Because now looking back on it, what if that was also controlled? What if their content about Israel was also controlled in order to provide cover for Kamala Harris? Damn. This is just the one that is outed. We don't know. They could be taking money for dark money from someone else too. Hello? We don't know what's going on. It is wild out here in these damn YouTube streets. We don't feel sorry for you, David. We don't feel sorry for Brian. I don't feel sorry for none of these people. You guys made a fucking decision. You are already making a lot of money. And then you're like, yeah, I'll take 8,000 more. For what? This is why you don't never hear them say anything about organizing. This is why you don't hear them talk. Only time they talk about organizing is if it's to vote for some damn body. You don't see them bringing people on to talk about let's work together to build dual power. Let's do mutual aid. Let's have community activism. Let's work together. You don't see them do these damn things because that is not what they're paid to do. All y'all motherfuckers been exposed. It is what it is. Some of us called this a while ago. Now you got the receipts. And for those who are wondering if you were interested in doing this yourself, you don't need all those bells and whistles. When I started doing this, I had actually the very first video I did, I used the microphone that was on my laptop. It took time. I didn't have fancy stuff. I had one ring light. It was rinky dinky. Sometimes it worked well, sometimes it didn't. I used the desk that I already had. And no matter how much I grew, you never saw me get to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go rent a studio now because I got hells to the no. You don't need all that. And I just hope people really take this into consideration because I look back on things and I'm like, these motherfuckers, and you wonder why people were getting boosted the way that they were. There's no way in hell you lose 10,000 subs in one day and then you get them back within 24 hours. Hell no. Stop being greedy. That's fucking ridiculous. It's disgusting. People say, what about the right-wing influencers? They are open about taking money. They don't pretend they don't take money. That's the difference. Everybody knew they were taking money. They're not like, oh, we don't take no money. They were open about that. Y'all motherfuckers been sitting up here lying and hiding, pretending like you were, and you were. And dark money. The same dark money for those of you who supported Nina Turner. The same, is this the same? Dark money is dark money. Don't forget the dark money that went against Nina Turner. Don't forget that. That's what people need to think about, what dark money really does. So they happily took dark money. They're not anti-corruption. They're not anti-capitalism. They are pro-capitalism. You are willing to go below the lowest of the low and take dark money and hide it from your goddamn viewers that you've had for years because you wanted greediness. It's disgusting. The longer I do this, in particular on YouTube, the more I find out. And it's really like gross, man. Some of these people really want change, but most of these motherfuckers I met don't. They want money. So shout out to Taylor for that article. I know a lot of people were talking about it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I don't understand. I really don't. You're already rich. But it's never enough. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.